Oh, wait, what?
That's a song I sang to Lacey when she was younger. When she was little and she needed to be sung to go to sleep, I'd sing this song to her.
Oh my god, that's so adorable.
It's not really the context. Hi, host Eric here. Host Talking with Famous People. We've got an interestingly arranged tri-level camera setup here so that I'm very close and Abraham's in the middle and Kunkle's furthest away. We're going to talk about aesthetic relativism tonight and hopefully shuffle around to make a better chair arrangement in the process. We start with what I would say is aesthetically a poor setup here, right? This is not good aesthetics. This probably isn't particularly nice to look at in the background, right? We've got the light meowing and the meow. But then if we do that, then we get our heads cut off. Now, my point in starting this video is that these are poor aesthetics. This is not a subjective thing. That it's not just a matter of taste as to, oh, well, different strokes for different folks. Everybody likes different things, and everything's just equal the same. No, I think that these aesthetic truths are no more or less absolute in some sense than than are there than are I gotta be there you go, Abraham. I look like I put my head in your lap. That would be cute. Oh, no, that's the wrong way. Okay, so I'm gonna sit over here. I'm gonna sit over here then. No, that's still the wrong way. It's shit. It's such a narrow field of vision. You know, no.
But maybe some people have a taste for that, Eric.
Okay, well, I think it is possible. Okay, let's start there then. So one might say, in this instance, wait, which way is closer? In this, everything's backward. In this instance, I think you could say the aesthetics. We've maybe successfully met it up.
Don't stop throwing aesthetics around like that. You have to say aesthetics when aesthetics are actually on point. Because otherwise, it's not like you're just...
No, Abraham, listen. What you are doing when saying that, you're just conveying to me that you think aesthetics means something that's beautiful. It's beauty in the positive sense. But aesthetics is the field, the discussion of issues of beauty.
I know what aesthetics is. I'm just saying, the way you're saying it sounds like you're saying... I don't know.
All right, so my point is this. Can you say, like, well, actually, in this context, in this video, maybe these poor visuals are conducive to a preferable aesthetic?
You don't understand. He's saying you're ugly.
No.
I probably am. I'm not gonna lie. Like, logically speaking, I'm the ugliest motherfucker I know.
I'm trying to talk about the ideas here, right? That is it in fact the case that this is bad aesthetics, or what? What are your thoughts, Colt? What do you talk?
In terms of what aesthetics?
Well, look.
Environmental, everything.
Well, let's say I paint a painting. I mean, two paintings. Two drawings, maybe. I don't know. I could probably pull up two examples of it. Is one of them better than the other one, or is it just a matter of taste?
Typically, well, if in that perspective, I'd have to say, sometimes one is, well, most times one is better than the other. You know, I don't really have a belief in like like it's a taste and preference kind of deal when it comes to like arts, at least.
The more clear answer to that is contingent on whether both drawings are equally as good. See, because if you're...
So then you're answering the question that there definitely is.
Because then only then can you say that it's up to like whatchamacallit, like opinions you have on certain type of art or whatever, right? Your taste or whatever. Only then would it be reasonable to say that.
So you mean if they're close?
Right. Because if you think about it this way, let's say you have a drawing of a stick figure, and on the other side you have the Mona Lisa, then obviously people are gonna say it's because one art's better than the other, right? Because I don't know, said reasons, whatever. Yeah. Mona Lisa is actually smiling versus a stick figure or something. Who the hell knows, whatever, right? But if you have two equal arts, I mean, I feel like that's the only time it comes to preference.
Okay. Do you think that? Well, I'm going to show you two pictures from here. Okay.
Dope.
Here's a picture from an old magazine.
Dude, that's dope.
That is a stylized advertisement. Okay, that's picture number one. Careful, please don't mess up. No, not that side. The other side.
Dude, I want a picture.
We're looking at the other side.
I want a picture of this.
When was this
I want to
published?
edit it too.
Okay, and now after you look at that, this is the second picture that we're going to compare. Okay, those two pictures. And I'll show them to the camera in a second. So when you're done looking at that Abraham trade with Kunkle.
That is so cool, dude. Look at that. Keep buying war bonds for victory. What?
Fuck, is these real?
Yeah.
What?
Abraham, you're kind of rough with it, actually.
Here, take it away from me before
I
ruin your aesthetics.
This, Here.
I don't want to hold it.
You can see it, right? We can talk about it.
I already saw that one. That doesn't look interesting.
Okay, so right away, we just got an aesthetic judgment by Abraham of preference that the other one I thought was much more interesting than this one.
This one's got a variety of colors in it,
More colors. One of the reasons why
the context, and the content or whatever are the same and similar or associated with one thing or another, right? For both of them. So I can argue and say that looks pretty nice. I just prefer that because it's got like more colors on it or something.
Okay, but not necessarily that one's a better drawing than the other.
Right.
A better picture.
Yeah, they have equal.
Well, what do you think, Kunkle?
I actually kind of like the other one.
So let's show the camera, so I'm sure they're tired of not seeing these things we're talking about. All right, so there's the first one. This is the one that Kunkle is talking about right now. That he says he likes better. Abraham likes the other one better. This is it a painting or is it a photo? Or?
I think it's a painting, based on the texture of the skin.
Well, it looks like a painting. He says so. Okay.
So essentially, what I like is that the picture that I saw was like detailed. It kind of showed like what was actually going on. So it just seemed more appealing.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. The other one kind of had like a propaganda-ish kind of vibe, and I was like, nah.
The other one had a what kind of vibe?
Kind of like a propaganda-ish kind of.
Yeah,
vibe.
that's why I fucking.
And I was like, I don't know, like that's like my
Eric knows I have like a little thing for like propaganda, hipster-looking type things.
I know.
I mean, he's always.
I'm assuming Asian women embody propaganda.
I'm always.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I want to cue in on that for a second. So, for you, it was an associative thing that caused you to prefer one over the other. That was specific and nameable and narrative.
Yeah.
Like so, if I showed you two abstract pictures, which were like one is like swaths of color like that, and the other one is like geometric shapes of color.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to draw strong associative things like that.
Yeah.
Would you still think there would be one you'd prefer, and what would be the motivation in a context like that to prefer one over the other? I mean, what would be the cause of the preference? What would be RFD?
Essentially, I would pick one, and it would probably be the geometric shapes, mostly because it's definitive. I could probably find a little more meaning depending on what the shapes are out of the shapes rather than just the suave colors, because that's more than just like it actually takes effort to
sort of make a shape. Okay.
Make a shape in comparison to just put some color on this.
So do you think it's important that effort be put into something?
Yeah, I actually prefer putting effort into a lot of things.
But I mean, do you think that something's necessarily going to be? Well, okay. How strong is the correlation between effort and quality outcome?
Well, I mean, it depends. You got those individuals who who are like really, really talented to the point where they can produce quality without putting in much effort. I personally appreciate things that have quality that had effort put into it, because essentially it's like I'm the kind of guy who, like, if you found a diamond on the street and you found a diamond while mining in the mountains, the one you mined from the mountains had a little more value to it, in my opinion at least, because now shut the fuck up.
No, no.
I know economically the other one is technically the more
one you find
valuable
in the
one.
street is better.
It's better
it's
because you didn't have to work for it.
Yeah.
I know. That's not me though. I like to work for my shit, man.
Well, hey,
So
but actually, this is a very important thing you're talking about here, which is everybody actually has it. It's not just you. It's everybody. Everybody prefers value that they earned from value that they found,
yeah,
or value that was the least desired, least enjoyed value is that which is given to you for charitable reasons, and probably the most desired value is that which has been won at game of chance. So in some sense, you most enjoy $100 if you win it at the track, right?
yeah.
You enjoy that $100 a lot more than earning the $100. But it doesn't necessarily mean you are more careful with that money.
Yeah.
Other ways of getting money are going to be less pleasurable up front than earning it directly.
Yeah.
At least if you're gambling, your action caused the outcome in some sense, even if you didn't actually do anything of value per se.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So where I'm going with this sort of line of questioning or thinking in general, I guess, is what's your take then on improvised stuff? Does it necessarily compete on a different field than stuff that's prepared? And can they be adjudicated against one another in a meaningful sense, qualitatively, like works?
I believe, and Eric can attest to this, sort of, sometimes, that the best course of action in any aspect of life is to always plan things ahead of time, right? And plan accordingly, right? I think that it is acceptable for some things to be done improvised if one is competent in doing those things to the best of his ability, right? But when it comes to maximizing the benefits of
What are you talking about?
when it comes to maximizing the benefits of productivity, it's important to be organized.
Okay, so
Not
so your point
reliant
is it's
on.
fine is that improvisation tends to lead to long-term inefficiency. Yes, basically. Okay, so what do you think about it, Kunkle?
I do feel that improvisation,
Improvisation.
improvisation obviously needs to happen at some point, and I feel like sometimes that's the best course of action. However, I'm not gonna lie when I say the most efficient way to go is just to plan it all ahead. Like improv. That's exactly your answer, essentially.
Yeah. See, because
Just,
think about it. Okay, let's say you did that in Inter, for example, right?
Well, you couldn't do it in
You
term.
couldn't do it in speech.
first of all, I did,
Okay.
and I won Jack Howe on that. So,
but it had at least you were semi improvising it. It was you had some framework of what was going on.
You're right. I had the teaser, and that was it.
All right. Go ahead.
That's all I had.
So, but look, in general, I tend to agree with you. I think it's contingent on medium, which medium you're working in, right?
Of course.
And I also would say that it's contingent upon your personality type, so that there are some types who operate best when called upon to just work off the fly, and some types who prefer to have more predictability. I think it has to do with whether you prefer to be active or reactive. I'm reactive, I prefer to be reactive, and proactive is the other approach. You're super proactive, right? And I'm mega reactive. I view you as super proactive because you're super organized, right? I envy and admire that because I have that quality in my worst thing, right? Um, so the thing is, I don't think that improvisation usually is a good thing for most me. Like, for example, comedy improv. I do a lot of comedy improv of a sort, but I always edit it, try to get it to be edited to just a couple of good parts, right? Because if you actually try to sit down and watch improv comedy, it's like torture.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something you'd ever want to watch.
Yeah, I just saw this improv one. Just a guy was walking around a garden talking about whimsy shit.
I know. That's where
Yeah,
I'm going with
it
it.
was.
That's where I'm going with it. Okay, that's where I'm going. So when I came in here, right? And Kunkle, I saw Kunkle's face, and he had this look of like, oh, what am I? What are you? Oh my God, I want to watch this thing, Because I just said to him, well, I want to get your thoughts on my interping,
Yeah,
right?
a few good parts.
That's fine. But the point is, I'm not married to any of this shit, right? Because you gotta remember, I've got over 1,000 videos up there. I've got all kinds of crazy nonsense, some of which is more successful than others. My thing is, as far as where I'm going with this art thing is, to me, improvisation in general is it's the tool by which the construction happens rather than the other way around. I would say that you and I are reverse polarity, right? What are you doing?
Sorry, you just showed me a fucking hilarious meme. I'm so sorry.
You know what I need, guys?
Yeah.
You know who would be a lot less distracted than you guys?
Dude, what if they had a killing magazine instead of flying, and they would
Women
post
workers.
like they would highlight the atrocities of war, dude, and they'd show people there with like amputated legs and shit. Like who in the magazine? I'm saying, what if they had a killing magazine? You know how that's a flying magazine or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. What if they had one that was titled "Killing"?
Then it would be purchased and read by people who enjoy looking at pictures of death. The thing about it is,
sign me up.
this is Killing Magazine, right?
Yeah.
I'll be seeing you after I get back from the kill zone.
Essentially, yeah.
This is Killing Magazine, but
That's insane. Isn't that like that?
it's creepy, right?
It's
a creepy
creepy
picture.
as hell.
It's super
creepy
creepy.
because it's like it's almost to a certain
Promoting
extent
war.
it's promoting
Warmongering.
war. Yeah,
Warmongering.
yeah. It's like you're trying to convince people how cool it is to go to war or something.
I'll be seeing you.
Yeah, like in a movie or something.
If they don't kill me.
That's from 1944, right?
This one is not that old. This one is, is it too? What year is it? This is 42.
Yeah. So
42, yeah. It's during the war.
Yeah. So essentially, that's what they were trying to do. Trying to get into the war. And when they got in the war, they were trying to make sure that everyone could fund it by buying war bonds and shit. So.
This is a cool picture. Wow, this is a neat one.
Fuck.
I think that's a cool picture, man.
It's a really nice guy.
Abraham is so Abraham-y.
What?
I ask him a question. If he doesn't agree, he doesn't say,
No,
I don't like that picture.
He's going to be like, what's the productive value of this picture?
Or he'll just look at me and raise his eyebrows like this.
Can I?
It's true.
Can I see that? Can I see that? Can you just show me like flash me real quick?
This cool bird. See?
What?
Isn't that neato?
I thought you were talking about the clouds. Okay.
That looks nice, dude.
See that bird?
Yeah, the bird's pretty cool.
It's like wings.
I haven't seen
These guys don't appreciate this cool bird.
I was gonna be like, I haven't seen something with that big of wings since Isabel. My ex. Anyway.
This bird.
Fuck you.
They're not appreciating this bird at all. So, fellow bird appreciators out there, I want you to leave a comment on this video explaining to Kunkle and Abraham that that's a rad picture. Mm-hmm.
It is. It really is good, but I'm not like.
But well, here's the thing. What I'm saying is your aesthetics are false. Because if your aesthetics were true, you would have been like, wow, that's a cool picture. But not faking it, but actually being so taken by the emotion that you ejaculated forth the words. Yeah, I can actually get away with using it. Look at that one.
I really hope this is the last time we talk about ejaculation in this thing.
I am talking about the normal use of the word that is its sexualization.
First time used that way.
Pow!
Oh,
I have a question though.
There, see?
You're welcome. See?
That looks nice.
But see, this is the problem, Kunkle. Kunkle wants to play it off like he was faking that, but actually, it looked a little bit like he was faking it because he was trying to damp it down because it overtook him so fast.
Yeah.
That, and then he tried to play it off. Pretty good. Pretty effectively played it off.
He read my emotions. Oh my god. You should coach interpret.
I know, I should.
You read it. You read it perfectly.
I got all three emotions down. I got surprise, I got anger, I got laughing.
All three down. All the ones.
Oh, that looks so good. I'm gonna post that.
Look at this. Safeguard to the present, gateway to the future. When we look at that thing, there's a wonderful world with bombers flying overhead. See? Not a good picture?
Oh shit, that actually is pretty cool.
That looks real cool,
Like
dude.
fucking like
What?
large ass
Oh my
engine.
god.
Little
Wait.
people and
That looks,
shit.
yeah, what?
Dude, that looks like some secret Nazi shit, man. Is it?
Really need magazines to flip through.
How do you have these?
I got them one time at a yard
He's like
sale.
Rick and Morty. He goes all the way back in time and just.
I'm curious though. Were these publicized like in the 1940s?
Yeah.
They're not like remakes of old magazines.
No, it's authentic.
Wow, dude, that's really cool.
Yeah,
Because I was gonna say, I don't even know up to what fucking year they started making prints in color or something.
Well, where's the one? This is just a couple of them. There's more. And I'm not actually sure where they're at the moment. But the coolest one, by far the coolest one, it's here, but I'll guess before for another video. I'll show you guys more of this cool stuff. But is the one where it's shortly before we bomb Hiroshima and Nagasaki with atomic weapons. Okay, and the article is all about. It's this big article about how we're going to manage the invasion of Japan.
Oh, shit.
Because what is it? It's war propaganda sent out to the American people as, well, look, if we weren't going to drive, if we didn't have an atomic bomb, we weren't going to nuke Japan.
That's how we would have done it.
Articles would come out like this, right? We're going to be talking about our war invasion plans and stuff. They probably actually did invasion plans. They probably had a whole bunch of the army people actually do invasion plans and tell them they really were going to invade as part of the hiding the nuclear bomb thing, I would guess. They might have. I don't know if they did or not. But the point is, that article is really cool because it's by a general. It's by a general, and he's talking about all these contingencies, and it's good analysis. It's like if we didn't have the nuclear bomb, all this analysis would be good and really interesting sort of war analysis. But you're sitting in the future and you realize they're going to fucking nuke them in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. I remember watching a documentary that said they had troops stationed, I believe, on the borders of Japan's ocean lines and shit, the day that Hiroshima and Nagasaki got bombed, just in case things didn't work out,
Really?
Yeah. It was kind of like a backup plan in
I
essence.
wasn't sure what was going to happen. Huh?
If the bombs didn't work out, or if they were duds or whatever, they just like failed to go off, or didn't do as much damage as projected, then boom, they just start an invasion.
Jesus Christ! It seems like half these nuclear bombs are duds. Okay, well, this got a little off topic, didn't it? I think that with music, improvisation is often, or at least, the distinction can be made between creating while playing and playing that which has already been created, right? And it's a very clear distinction.
Yeah.
And I think that in all other media, that distinction is less clear.
Yeah. What the fuck is up with you?
I think music's the only medium where you can really pull it off, so that an improvised thing in music is as successful as something that's written.
Interesting. I know that music for certain, like
Abraham.
a lot of stop pulling on my fucking tail, man.
Hey.
Music for certain. I don't know. Based on my prior experiences, a lot of the live music that I see really doesn't like come from like from like a script or any of that. Just like comes from like the soul, you know. So it's like what like it's one if you improv music, you know, like that place is coming from like like somewhere deep, you know. Therefore, it's like not only super artistic but also super like in essence like
Too
on
many
par.
likes. You hit the threshold. I can tolerate it no longer. Too many likes and too many you-knows.
True.
But why? Like,
It's everybody, dude. It's
Like
everybody.
I like yeah.
Yeah, I know.
well,
I do know.
Stop saying
Yes,
that.
Abraham, you've got a lot better. I
There's
bust
this-
everybody's chops I ever encountered. So, including Kimball.
It,
Like, Kimball, please, not you too.
what did she say?
Like, a bunch. Especially in certain contexts, people default to it. They think it. I think this is what happens with like and and the other filler words.
Interesting.
They serve multiple purposes. One of which is to make a person softer and therefore more. Socially softer, right? Like when you're speaking, you are more inclined to be interpreted as making less definitive statements because you're qualifying them with the word like or verifying that your conversation partner.
You just sound stupid. That's what Eric's trying to say.
No, that's not what I'm trying to say at all. I'm trying to make a specific point.
True. I think it's true though that one does sound stupid because.
But that's not what I'm trying to say.
If you think about it.
I'm trying to say why.
Okay, but if you think about it, that lets you know that person doesn't know how to use.
No, it doesn't tell you that. It tells me the opposite thing of that, which is not that they don't know how to use language well. It tells me they're overemploying a mechanism that everybody uses in language, which is, except for pretty much everybody, including me.
Everyone in California, at least.
But it's not just that manifestation. I'm talking about the mechanism in general of qualifying one's speech with qualifying words to make them less sharp. So that you say, well, basically, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's not basically blah, blah, blah. It's just blah, blah, blah. You don't need that basically. We don't need these adverbs that say, I am not making a definitive statement.
Like when Kunkle says, essentially.
Essentially.
Or the deal is.
Okay, well, look, we all have those things. We have a lot of those words. Those are transition phrases and such to make the flow of the language fit our audio cadence of it. The reason you use those expressions a lot probably is because you feel as though the sentence cadences need that clause to make the whole thing roll. And especially since you're used to delivering language orally to the ears and via the mouth, then naturally you're going to
to the ears via the mouth.
Well, because both words are orally and they both are pronounced the same. These fucking guys, I tell you. What are you guys looking at? Oh my god, I'm done with this video. I'm so done with this video. Alright, thanks for being guests on Talking with Famous People. We're going to send these guys away. Go out and meet some people on the internet who are a little more sane.